Quick killer don't lie when I say I did it. And then 1 minute, still I can't believe. All right, we're gonna sing the song later. You're welcome to the auto showroom. Now today's show is gonna be amazing. Before we even get into it, let me show you something. Smooth. Now these are what we call pre-tension seatbelts. What are they used for? They're supposed to protect you. Now the car I'm in isn't mine. The Volkswagen Terramount. Beautiful car. It has everything you need to protect you. The airbags, the pre-tension seat belts, crumple zones, the bumper, and more. Now why are these things needed in a car such as this? I'll tell you. Now about 1.3 million people die every year across the globe as a result of road crashes, accidents. Now to put things in perspective, people within the upper east region of Ghana make up about 1.3 million people. So about that number of people, the entire upper east region, dying every year. You break it down further, that comes to about 3,700 people every single day. So what about the situation in Ghana? I'll tell you. Available data shows that about 232 people passed on in Ghana in January alone as a result of road accidents. Hence the need for us to talk about systems that protect occupants of vehicles. So the man to help us with this conversation is Kwabena Apiabeko, CEO of Specs Motorsports and Tuning. Before we get into that conversation though, time now for us to bring you our auto trivia of the day. Yes, the question we are asking is, at what speed does a car's airbags deploy? We'll bring you the answer after this break. Welcome back from the break. This is the Auto Showroom and we're about to dive into a very important discussion. You need to pay attention. We're entering into the classroom to learn everything we can about vehicle occupant safety. Now this car, magnificent as it is, the Volkswagen Terramount. If it didn't have a couple of things to protect you and I, then it practically would be useless. But it does have a number of things that my man here will be explaining to us around the car and inside the car to protect the occupants of the vehicle. Kwabena Apiabeko, Specs, right? That's what they call it. Nice one.
Specs.
Now today you're educating us.
Right.
The topic, vehicle occupant safety. Why is it important? So from pre-tension seat belts, bumpers, crumple zones, airbags, paint the picture for me.
Yes.
If a car doesn't have all these things and there's an accident, what would happen to the occupant?
Well, first of all, it will be devastating. So what will happen is the engine will all of a sudden be transferred into the cabin where the people are.
That's if it's a frontal
collision, for example. And then the people who don't have seat belts, by virtue of the sudden stop, will be thrown at about 25 times their body weight through the windshield to either meet the engine or whatever is crashing into the car.
Oh no.
So you can imagine that. It will be nasty.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Interesting.
It's going to be a human smoothie.
I don't want to imagine that. Okay, so now talk to me about the systems, the vehicle, the vehicle occupant systems that are available.
Right.
Break it down for me. Take them one by one and explain to me why they are important, from the bumper to the crumple zones and the seat belts. One by one, what roles are they playing? Basically?
Okay, so first of all, the bumper is there to handle low-speed bumps or accidents.
By bumper, you mean
this frontal area.
Okay.
So there's a bumper and then there's a beam behind it. Okay, so now in the beam are the sensors. Okay, situated behind the bumper. If it's anything more than a fender bender, which is just a small impact, the sensors are going to take that shock and then transfer it into the computer that makes the airbags deploy. Right. So at that point, the seat belt loads the pre-tensioners to keep you in place. Right, to prevent the body from swinging forward.
You're saying this would happen if the car is traveling at what particular speed or what kind of impact? Is
Okay.
it just any impact or, like you said, beyond a fender bender?
Yes, beyond the fender bender. But for example, at 40 kilometers per hour, the G's generated, which is your the amount of times of your body weight, at 40 kilometers is 25 times. So you face 25 times of your body weight in the collision. So if you came to an abrupt stop, that's what it would mean.
Wow.
Yes. So first of all, the seat belt would have to hold you in place.
Okay.
And then the airbags will deploy to cushion that effect.
Okay.
So you don't damage your head or your chest or get internal bleeding from that.
But I mean, from that type of impact, the first thing is, the bumper. Takes the impact.
Yes. And then within microseconds, everything is calculated and the airbags are deployed.
But these are for
which
cars,
is faster than the blink of an eye.
For what you're talking about, it will work for cars such as these. Do the ordinary cars on the market also have?
Right. So most cars have airbag systems now.
Like a Toyota Corolla, for example.
Yes, they do. They have to pass safety systems, basic safety checks to be able to sell the cars. So what they have to do is homologate the car and make sure.
What does that mean?
That means producing what you're going to sell, the final product, many times. So we are sure of your safety. Yes.
Okay. Interesting. So now we've spoken about the bumper.
Right.
That's what it does. I mean, first point of contact when you have like a frontal collision.
Right.
Okay. Now, what else do we have? I mean, on the front side that helps with the.
Okay. So
safety.
imagine that this was a very solid object, right? And nothing could bend it. Okay. So if you had an impact, nothing bends. What will happen is it will stop the car immediately, and then the force will propel the occupants forward. Okay. Which is too much.
Through the windshield or something?
Well, if you have the seatbelt on, you may not go through the windshield. But what will happen is the force may be too much, and you might crush some rib cages just by virtue of the force propelling you forward.
And the seatbelt
holding you.
Okay.
So what they've done now is put what we call crumple zones. Okay, which help reduce the inertia or the energy traveling through the car.
Okay.
So these crumple zones are basically break-off zones. Okay.
Explain that to me.
So for instance, if we're going to fist bump very hard.
Just try that.
Okay. Boom. Ouch. That's like, did you see your muscles move?
Yeah, I feel that right here.
Yeah. Let's do this again.
Okay.
Right.
It almost stops here.
Yes.
Okay.
And if you continued, I'll just, just flex my arm and maybe go ahead and do a crack or something. But aside from that, what the crumple zones do is break the energy traveling through the car. So, reducing the inertia. Okay. And then helping the engine to get out of the way, everything else that is heavy and hard to get out of the way so it doesn't go into the occupancy cell or cabin to injure people.
So you're talking about transfer of energy being reduced. Could you break it down for me?
So basically, when you get a strong impact at 40 kilometers or more, what happens is the car manufacturers are trying to protect the occupants. So they don't want anything here to enter the cabin. Or the force here to enter the cabin. So what they're trying to do is to break off the energy and prevent it from entering the cabin. So hence you have crumple zones. So for instance, this car, we have crumple zones here and here. So if someone came in straight into your car, it will break off here. First. And if the impact is even more than that, it will break off here.
So we see the front of the car crumple?
Yes.
And then?
Here too will crumple. So what happens is nothing here enters the cabin, and then the occupants of the cabin are safe. Right.
Great, awesome. But then if this wasn't in place, obviously the frontal stays almost intact. And then just gets.
I mean, back in the day where the safety measures were not that tight, or there wasn't enough research on these things, what happened was you would find an engine in the cabin or various elements in the cabin. Just because there were no crumple zones. So these obviously have been researched into, and then they've deemed it very safe to use these crumple zones.
I mean, outside of the bumper and the crumple zones, any other thing on the front side of the car or around the car that helps keep, occupants safe?
I think, the body keeps the occupant safe.
Great. Okay.
Yeah, basically that's it.
Basically that. All right.
Yeah.
So, but I'm sure there are more things within the car also that help. You mentioned the pre-tension seat belts.
Yes.
And then the airbags and other things
Yes,
like that.
other things
All right.
in there.
So I mean, if you can go in there and try and you can explain it further for me.
Okay, sure. All right.
All right, so you heard about the bumper, you've heard about the crumple zones on this particular car and other cars. Now we're within the car. So we're going to talk about systems within the car that protect occupants. And I don't know where you want to start with first. First of all, tell me, what do we have in the car that would protect the driver, the passengers, and anyone else?
Okay, so the first thing we have is a safety cell,
Okay.
which consists of the A pillar, B pillar, C pillar.
Okay.
And what happens is it's a cell.
Yes.
So the occupants live in this cell, and they've been strengthened or reinforced to try and keep the dangers out.
Okay.
So in case of a collision, the force doesn't hurt the occupants.
It will take a lot before these
Yes.
these cells, actually crumple.
Crumple,
Okay.
exactly.
Okay.
So when that happens, you as the occupant have to do the necessary to keep yourself safe.
Okay.
So number one is we have the seatbelt.
Okay.
It's a 3-point seatbelt. In race cars, we have a 5-point seatbelt.
From where? From there, there.
Here, and then one through your crotch.
Okay.
Yes. So we have a 3-point seatbelt.
Okay.
Yeah.
Try this
So
on.
we turn it on.
Yeah. Good. Why do you call it 3-point though?
3 points because obviously it's just fixed in 3 places.
Yes.
1, 2,
One,
and then when you
2.
buckle up.
Okay.
Okay.
Great.
And then as a driver, it's always necessary, or a passenger, it's always necessary you keep a safe distance from your dashboard.
Okay.
Because in case of a deployment of the airbag, what happens is you are at a safe distance, because the airbag is supposed to come up to a certain level. Okay. And if you're within
Too
that
close to
range, the airbag will hit you instead of protect you.
So before we get to the airbags, the seat belts.
Right.
What exactly are they doing? Because I mean, do they have a special purpose? Do they act in a particular way when you get into an accident? Can you
Okay,
explain?
so before the accident, I mean, it's pretty easy to get around in your seatbelt. You could grab anything across the dashboard. Just feel free. It's not too tight. It doesn't feel good. Back in the day when we were learning how to drive, people were like, no, we don't want to wear seatbelts because it makes us nauseous. People didn't really feel like wanted to be restrained. So what happens is, in the case of a collision, the seatbelt has the pre-tension that you were talking about before, which notices the abrupt movement.
Okay.
So what happens is, if I do this to the seatbelt, it's so easy. But in case we will just simulate an abrupt movement, it holds you in place. So it stops you from going forward.
But on a normal day, if you're moving,
you're easy. So that's the pre-tensioner. Just locks you up in one place and keeps you at a safe distance from the steering wheel.
Okay.
In the more modern cars, what happens is it can actually feel everything before and just lock you in the place, especially if you're driving fast.
Okay.
Yeah, so it holds you in place. So it will pre-lock it, and in case of accident, it will lock it even harder.
So before we had the pre-tension seat belts, the ordinary seat belts you literally fly into the steering wheel or the airbag. Interesting. So now, I mean, the pre-tension ones hold you back so that you don't, crash into. Interesting.
And this is the safest basic safety thing in the car.
Okay.
Because it does a very good job of holding you in place.
Interesting.
Yes.
Wow.
So you don't crash into your wheel.
Okay.
Right.
So pre-tension seat belts, what else do we have?
So after the pre-tension seat belts, what you have now is the airbags. Now, in modern cars like this, you can have a steering airbag.
A steering airbag?
Yep.
How?
So what happens is it's located in the steering wheel to protect your head and your chest.
Okay.
These are your vitals, your brain, and then your
face, everything.
Yes, and then your lungs and your internals. So what happens is it deploys.
Yes.
In the case of an accident. Okay. And in a span that lasts shorter than the blink of an eye.
Wow.
Yes. So you basically.
If there's an impact?
Yes, it's there, and then it's not there, and then all of a sudden it's there.
It's there.
Yeah.
But so you're saying it's built into what? It's in here somewhere?
It's in here somewhere.
Oh.
It's folded up nicely.
Yeah.
And there's a canister which pre-detonates.
Wow.
Yes.
Like a little bomb?
Yes, like a little bomb in your car.
Okay.
So every car is armed.
Wow. So it's here. Where else do we have it?
So
the airbag.
We have the steering airbag, and then we have the knee airbags. In some car companies, there are options. So those protect your knees.
Okay.
Because obviously the dashboard will be coming
Yeah.
to you. So this helps your knees.
Okay.
And then your lower limbs.
Okay.
And then we have curtain airbags in case of a side collision.
Are you serious?
Yes, they're called curtains because obviously they're on the windows.
But I can see any evidence of an airbag there.
Well, in some cars they're equipped, and other cars they're not. If
Okay.
they're equipped, normally you see
something there.
see a little thing there.
Okay.
Right,
Okay.
right,
Okay.
right.
So
In the case of a side impact, what happens is those deploy and
Yeah.
protect your head from going against the side.
wow.
Right.
So basically, they've thought about everything to protect like your vitals, like
right.
they
You even
said.
get some in the seats. So you're on the corner here. In case of a side collision, it protects your ribs and the other side of your body.
No way.
Right.
So are the airbags only for the driver, the front passenger, or there are ones back there as well in some cars?
Yes. Nowadays, you get airbags pretty much everywhere. I mean, the passenger already has the seat to cushion them.
Yeah.
There's an airbag. They also have curtain airbags.
Okay,
To protect the passengers as well. Yes.
Wow. Okay. Interesting. So now these are for the adults.
Right.
And I want to talk about kids as well. But before we even go there, outside of the seatbelts, the airbags, any other thing within the car that protects the occupants?
The occupants.
These are the basics?
Yes, these are the basics.
Okay. So now these days we have, we travel with kids as well. Sometimes you see people driving with their kids standing in the car, in the front seat, in the back seat.
Right.
What are the measures in place that, would support, like a child?
Okay, so for kids,
Yeah.
normally they are not up to the right height.
Yeah.
Right height.
Yes.
To be able to
Wear
these seatbelts.
Okay.
They are normally too small, and it might hurt them,
Yeah.
or they might submarine.
Yeah.
So what's happening is they have little spots.
By
in
submarine, you mean like escape
there,
underneath
slip underneath
the seatbelt? Okay.
And you might break your spine,
Okay.
get internal damage and stuff like that.
Okay.
It even happens to adults sometimes.
Wow, yeah.
Yeah. So they have little mount points for their baby chairs.
Okay.
For children, and you have to place them well and lock them in.
Oh.
Some use the seatbelt
Okay.
for older kids,
Okay.
and some have their own harnesses in there
Okay.
to protect the children.
Okay.
Yes. And then there's this popular thing where what Ghanaians do, because they want the children to be, by them. They put the airbag. They put the child seat in the front.
Yeah.
So what happens?
Reverse sometimes.
Yes. But sometimes it's not really allowed because the airbag can injure them.
So advisedly,
yes,
you're not supposed to have kids
In the
even
front.
in the child seats in the front,
yes.
secured in the back.
In the back.
Wow.
Exactly.
Wow. Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. So, because these days you're driving around and you see people with their kids standing, and you're wondering if there is a little collision.
Yeah, I think it's very wrong because, and sometimes I cringe.
Yeah.
Because even in low speed traffic, 30 kilometers, one time I was on the road, and the car in front of the lady stopped, and the child was in the back seat. I think we're doing as little as 50 kilometers.
Yeah.
The child flew all the way from the back seat and broke her neck on the window.
No way.
Yeah.
Wow.
This I saw.
I mean, hence the reason to take the necessary precautions in
Right.
protecting
and protecting
kids.
your children.
So
I
if
know
there's
it's nice if
Yeah.
we're right here and
Yeah.
then you get to talk to them and
Yeah.
everything. I have children. It feels good that way. But and it's always a sacrifice. You always have to protect the children more than anything else.
So for toddlers and the very young ones, they should be in their
They need
seats,
to be in the child seats.
locked properly.
Locked properly in the ankle points.
Ankle
We call them
points, okay.
Ankle points.
Okay.
With another safety strap attached.
Okay.
Make sure all those are mounted. If you read the manual for the child
Right.
seats, you will notice they are there.
Awesome. Kwabena, thank you so very much. But I mean, before
Absolute
we go,
pleasure.
I mean, Beck Specs, motorsports and tuning.
Right.
I mean, outside of educating people, what else, I mean, do you guys normally do? I mean, to protect people and also ensure they have a good experience with their cars.
I mean, well, we do so many things. There's a demo outside I might show you later, but we tune cars.
Okay.
We make them faster. We build engines,
Okay.
turbocharge, supercharge them.
Okay.
And obviously, I have a history in motorsports, so
Yeah.
I can help people control their cars even better.
Wow.
To sort of like enhance their skills a bit.
So anyone that wants to tune up their car, anyone that wants to work on their
We are
engines.
the people for you. And then it's not only that, we also do aesthetics.
Okay.
So you can wrap your car, protect your car with PPF or nano coating.
Wow.
To prevent
Nano
your car-
coating?
Yeah, to prevent your car from scratches and stuff like that.
Wow.
So yeah.
I mean, this is not my a Volkswagen. What's the name again?
Terramount.
The Terramount. But I mean, hey, any car can be brought here for tuning and all of those things.
Yes, once you love your car, we'll be happy to help you.
Thank you so much, man.
Absolute pleasure.
I'm grateful.
Yes.
Well, so it's been an exciting and very important discussion on the auto showroom today. I mean, Beck Specs, Motorsports and Tuning. That's Kwabena Apia Beko there, basically breaking it down for us from the bumper to the crumple zones to the pretension seat to the airbags. And also importantly, systems put in place to ensure your kids are protected. Beautiful conversation, very important conversation to save lives on the roads and also within our cars. You're watching the Auto Showroom. My name is Bobby Osei.
Hi, it's me again, Kwabena Apia-Beko, CEO of Beck Specs Motorsports and Tuning. And here is your auto tip for the week. If you turn on your ignition, always look out for the pregnant lady sitting down. If it's on, it means you may have a problem with one or more of your airbags. If it's off, then you're safe to go. And also, when you wear your seatbelt, always try to keep it on your chest. Do not wear your seatbelt this way, or in case of a front or back collision, you may get a whiplash and break your neck. Brobier, over to you.
A truly special episode of the Auto Showroom. It has been quite the experience. Educative as well. We learned about things on the car and in the car that protect the occupant of the vehicle. But what is the answer to Auto Trivia for the day? The question was, at what speed does a car's airbag deploy? Well, the answer is 16 miles per hour. Now, a typical airbag deploys in about 15 milliseconds. All you need to know is that it deploys really fast, blink of an eye. Well, thank you so much for watching us. We'll come away next week with another exciting show. Do enjoy yourself as I'm about to enjoy my Volkswagen Terramount. Matte black, beautiful. Catch you.